Welcome to After the Whistle, take 2. As you can see, this pile of paper over here, that's the result of the brackets and lack thereof proper prediction. I will say is, Brian, he did pick 2 out of the 4 Final Four teams, right? But I'm going to rip his bracket up anyways because he got Virginia. So, Brian knows I hate Virginia. He won't pick Virginia. Throw that at the camera. All right, we got Sweet 16 talk. We got NBA talk. We got Todd here. He got the specialized Lynn English State Championship hoodie.
Oh, yeah, get with it.
You know,
get with it.
I got mine, too.
Y'all see it? All right, cool. Make sure.
You know, Lynn, we trying to bring more trophies back to the city, you know? By the way, he got 2 himself. If y'all don't already know, he got 2 state titles himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
St. Mary's, man.
Yeah, that's back in before the facial hair.
0102.
Before the facial hair and other stuff. All right, Duke, Virginia Tech, let's get right into it. Duke versus Virginia Tech, another nail biter for Duke. You know, they're escaped by the hairs of their chinny chin. And, you know, Virginia Tech had so many chances to win this game. The last possessions for Virginia Tech, when there was about 23 seconds left in the game, they kept shooting the 3. They wanted to go for the win. But I'm just like, you're not a good 3-point shooting team. Just go to the basket.
We live in this world where the 3-point shot is, they feel like it's like the end of all. It'll just end the game. Like, bro, we got a situation. Make the layup, foul, they miss free throws, you can score again. Like, there's certain ways to win the game. You always got to just go for the gusto.
Seriously, they had, and the 3s they took, it was like, one was an air ball. He lucky the guy saved it, and the other one was just way off. I'm like, Virginia Tech, come on now. Come on, what y'all doing? But they did. That's ACC rivals right there. This was a good basketball game. Duke's UCF game was great. This was another great game for both teams, too. And
I liked how Virginia Tech didn't back down from Zion, because when they beat Duke, they didn't have Zion. Zion had a 30-plus game, but they only won by 2.
Yeah, Zion, there's nothing you can do about Zion. You just hope to contain them, which a lot of teams can't. But I mean, that's a man amongst boys.
But I feel like with Zion playing, a lot of people thought that Virginia Tech was gonna get smacked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They showed you that now they can really hoop.
And they were hitting those shots they hit when they played them the first time. They were hitting them this time too. The guy Hill, he was playing his mind out until that last play.
Talking about Julio?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's nice though. I like Julio. He's nice though. That one can shoot that thing.
Fantastic voyage. That layup was it was not a fantastic voyage for him, man. I was like, he had it, and then he did that. I'm like, you had more time. You had a good couple seconds, but he just panicked.
Honestly, end the game situation, a big game like that, yeah, there was so much going on.
Yeah.
Like he probably just lost track of time.
Yeah, especially when they just had the ball in that other possession when they was trying to go for the win. So it's probably like, we just got to get this.
Because he knows when he fell, he looked and was like, oh, because he knew like he had more time.
Yeah.
Like, and he probably thought, Zion was right there, right?
Yeah.
He probably thought Zion was probably going to punch it.
Probably.
And did Zion even jump? I don't think
he jumped. He jumped a little bit, but he just stopped because he probably would have fouled him if he fully jumped, because John's a little out of control sometimes.
I mean, that's a lot of body to control.
Yeah, that is a lot of body. Michigan versus Texas. This one was an eyesore for many of us, especially for those that like Michigan. This was an eyesore. It was not their day. Simple as that. It was not their day. Texas Tech, no, they played good defense, but Michigan went 0 for 18, 0 for 17 from the three-point line, their starters. And a lot of those shots, it was open shots. But offensively, they just never got into a rhythm.
Nah, they didn't get into a rhythm whatsoever. Every time I turned back to the game, I was like, what am I doing? Because I keep thinking it's going to be a good game. So I turn back, and it's like, bro, they're still getting smacked by 20-something, 30 points. I'm straight. Like, and it just wasn't good basketball.
No,
like,
it wasn't.
I feel like the IQ no longer was part of Michigan's makeup. They just kept jacking shots instead of just trying to play situation, get some layups, get some floaters, get to the free throw line, do something to put some points on the board.
Yeah, and nothing was going. Simpson too. Simpson, he usually has a little floater going one time. When he got in the lane, it was just a struggle for him. Even the easy floaters that he would get, he just with nothing at all, and it was just like, man, this is y'all just don't have it today.
I've seen bad games, heard of bad games, but this was like an awful performance. Like, you can't be Division I guys. Some guys trying to go pro, and you only had 16 points. These guys didn't get 16 in the first 10 minutes of the half.
Guys get 16 in 3 minutes.
Like.
Yeah, but hey, kudos to Texas Tech. They're on the run. Purdue, Tennessee. This one. We talk about this one. This was a great game. Purdue had a big lead. You know the guy we didn't talk, Ryan Kine.
Yo, he ball. He had 29.
That dude.
Yeah, he can shoot that thing.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I did not watch Purdue basketball at all this season. I saw this dude hit a step back. I'm like, yo, he's 6'8". He shouldn't be doing that. He's like 6'8", 6'9". He should not be doing that. And then there was one where he just jumbled a few and then just pulled on him, and it was just like, he took a step back. Like, okay, Purdue.
Now, Klein, he's the walk-on, right? Is he the walk-on that earned the scholarship?
Probably.
He's the one that cocked it all the way back.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a walk-on, and he earned the scholarship. And honestly, I forgot about him. That's like the 1-2 punch with Carson Edwards and him, but Carson's a dog, man.
Straight dog. Straight dog. He's from Texas, too.
What part?
I forget what part. Let me look it up.
Growing up in that heat, like, you can play through anything.
Yeah.
Like, that heat's different in Texas, man.
Yeah, and the way he was pulling, too, it was like, okay, because he gave him the step back, he'll just give him the pull up, couple jumps, and it was like, there's literally nothing you can do about that. Even there were some possessions the guy played perfect defense, and it was just like, I'm still gonna pull this in your face, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Coach got total confidence in his point guard, which you should always have total confidence in your starting point guard, especially if you put him out there to be the floor general. Yeah. Plus, he's just allowed to get busy. He's allowed to do his thing out there, which is dope to watch, because most college teams don't have that type of system.
At all. He is from Atascocita, Texas.
What's that near San Antonio?
Probably. That's probably deep South Texas.
That sounds like some Spanish version of Texas.
It's probably where Mexico used to, Mexico used to own Texas. So yeah. But if we look at this guy's tournament run. So against Villanova, 42 points. Tennessee, 29 points. And then he had 42 points against UVA. We'll talk about that later. Even against Old Dominion, he had 26 points. So,
to the way he was looking, like he was the best player.
In the
country.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good game though. Tennessee got holes with that last call, that foul call on Carson. He kicked his leg out. He pulled the Reggie Miller, but the dude barely touched him. There was barely any contact. It had no effect on the shot. And that's one of those you got to let that one go, refs. You can't call that one.
Superstar call, man.
Yeah.
He put up superstar numbers.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But Tennessee, they dug themselves in a hole. And coming back from that was a problem. And then there was 1.3 seconds left. So they did decide not to call a timeout. What they did was they passed it and then try to get because you can't advance in college, you got to get it past half court. Mm-hmm. So they threw the ball, instead of throwing it past half court, they made 2 passes and then called the timeout, and there was like 0.1 seconds left. Like, what are you thinking with 1.3 seconds left? That's just not enough time. Just run the play.
I don't know. They might have had a brain dead moment.
That's on the coach.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he might have had a brain dead moment. Sometimes even those moments are too big for some of the coaches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Rick Barnes. Well, whatever. All right, Purdue moved on to the lead. Another great game. Kentucky versus Houston. This was P.J. Washington was back in this game. This was a tightly contested game. Kentucky at one point had a big lead, and then I think Houston settled down in the game. I think they got it together, kept their composure, and then they just started hitting shots. They started playing defense, and they were being competitive because Kentucky had an opportunity to blow the game away, and Houston never let them do that. When it could have got that way.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see this game, but when I looked at the box score, I was just happy to see PJ out there balling. Now, was PJ actually healthy, or was he playing like?
He was playing with a lot of adrenaline.
Right.
He looked fine, but
now for you to be for you to still be injured and possibly scoring 16, and then next game doing your thing, like, I hope he stays one more year.
Yeah, because foot injuries aren't the easiest thing to come back from. No. Those ones take time. But yeah, I think if they didn't have him this game, they would have lost. They would have lost by double digits.
He's the only guy that actually played like an upperclassman.
Yep.
Like Reed Travis is Reed Travis, he's solid, but like PJ, like he stands out with that team. You could tell like he's like the best player on the team.
Yeah, you could tell he took on that leadership role because even after that loss to Kentucky during the first game of the season, which was like, I mean, the loss to Duke, the first game of the season, which was, you know, it was one of those. It was just like, oh, okay, we're not where we need to be. But then you saw them during the season, they started progressing, and he took on that leadership role because it was when you watch him, you like, this guy enjoys playing basketball. Like some guys you watch, you know, they like playing, but watching him, he enjoys playing basketball. So, I mean, hey,
and Harold Ball, so.
Yeah, and you said their point guard was supposed to be a high school senior.
Yeah, I heard he reclassed, you know what I mean, so he could play college basketball a year early. So, yeah, he's supposed to be a senior now. So that's probably why you guys aren't seeing the prototypical Kentucky point guards, because he's not even mature enough yet to be what you want him to be yet. Yeah. Next year, he'll probably be that guy, but he's a defensive hound.
Yeah.
So
that's usually Cal usually gets those point guards that are, you know, that are scrappy defensively. But, you know, hopefully we can see this Kentucky team all come back together, or just majority of the guys come back together. Because if they do, we'll definitely be talking about them being AP #1 all season, because they got talent on that team.
No, definitely.
Speaking of Kentucky again, Auburn and Kentucky, this was round 3. I guess third time was a charm for Auburn. Kentucky beat them both times during the regular season, and then Auburn, they finally got over that hump and beat them, and it was all due to the backcourt of Brown and Harper. Sounds like a lot for Brown and Harper.
It really does, but how you said they scored combined 50 points, you know what I mean, and they shot what? 5 for 13 from the three.
They just put the team on their backs. Yeah. They pretty much put the teams on their backs, and this was Auburn once again. Kentucky had a big lead. Auburn could have folded, but they fought back and cut a 10-point lead down. And you know they made Kentucky uncomfortable in the second half. They made their guards uncomfortable too.
Defensive pressure?
Yeah, Kentucky couldn't generate some easy baskets most of the times, and it was tough.
And it's grown men playing against young men.
Yeah.
Upperclassmen playing against underclassmen. Just a different physicality.
Yeah.
Just a little different.
Very, very different. So Auburn moved on to that. This is their first elite. Going on to their first Final Four. I know Charles Barkley is excited about that one, Auburn.
You seen Charles Barkley's comment about the one and done and all that? Saying we play basketball. That's what we do. Like Zion wanting to come back for his sophomore year. Like people were so shocked. It's like, bro.
I mean, it's like, this used to be the norm for college basketball. You get these phenoms and they come back. You know, they stay there. Some stay 3, some stay all 4 years. Heck, in the '80s, I don't think you look up and down the college roster, you'll probably see guys that's been there all 4 years.
Most of them all left their junior year. That was like the thing, the league your junior year.
Yep.
Maybe your sophomore year, but there really wasn't many one and done.
Nah, unless you were just like. There was no reason.
But even then, you wouldn't even go to college. You go straight from high school to the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah. But Auburn in the Final Four. Purdue versus Virginia, this might have been the game of the tournament. This game was, this game was something. If you didn't watch this one, you missed a barn burner because it had everything. It had 3-pointers. It had big shots. It had moments that made you say, what in the world? And like I said before, Cisco, out of all people, made the shot of the game.
Yeah, I mean, for one, you let a guy shoot 19 threes? Like, jeez.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Damn.
And he made 10 of them.
Yeah, like, tell you, that boy costing a dog. Like,
most people that shoot 19 threes, they don't make 6.
No, not at all. That's why I like that his coach has the utmost confidence in his point guard, because you're supposed to. And to be honest, sometimes I just feel like he just tells Carson, like, man, just go handle the team. I'll be over here if you need some assistance. You need a player too, just look over here, I'll give you one.
And this is how you know he has the ultimate green light, because he was pulling up 2 feet after the half court. That's how you know he has the green light, because most coaches wouldn't want none of their players doing that, but that's how you know you have the green light. And the way where he was pulling from, and then it was like one of those they go in. It was nothing but net that they were going in. So
that boy was behind the back, step back, just doing whatever he wants. But one guy scoring 42, you got 2 guys that went for 49. So you know what I mean?
Balances out.
Yeah, it balances out.
And they had this game in their hand. If they just like I said, I hate the whole, if you're up 3 with some seconds left in the game, you foul. I hate that. Just play defense. You know me, I like defense. When we play pickup, I like playing defense. I mean, you should have some pride in locking someone down and stopping them from, especially hitting a 3. It's going to be much harder for them to make a 3 than it is for them to make a 2. So I'm just, like, play defense. Don't do that fouling when you're up 3 nonsense.
I totally agree with the whole just defensive pride thing, having pride, male or female. You got some cojones, D up.
Yeah.
Like, simple as that. Also, too, like, the probability of you making a desperation 3 to you getting an and 1 layup.
Yeah.
Like, you serious? So, like, that whole fouling, giving them a point, they missed the free throw, tips back.
Yeah.
You throw, you know what I mean, up court for a floater. All that could have been canceled. You just would have played D.
Yeah. And the probability of that, just him missing, the tap out, that's just one of those things. It was just like, okay, that's just God saying maybe you guys don't deserve this.
It's like 0.0001%.
Seriously.
And that 0.001% smacked them in the face.
Yeah. When I watched that, I was at the bar. I just was like, man, this is terrible. That's horrible. I would have been so mad, but I mean, they had their chances in overtime, but Virginia just made a couple more plays than they did, and they're going to their first Final Four since, I think, Ralph Sampson.
Probably. I don't follow Virginia. Couldn't tell you nothing.
Me either.
I know my family's from there.
Me too. My cousin was telling me that we should talk about Virginia basketball, so we're talking about Virginia basketball. But anyway.
Shout out to Richmond.
Yeah, shout out to Richmond, Virginia. Everybody out in Richmond, Virginia, you know, I'll come back there at some point in the summer when it's like nice and 80 degrees. Gonzaga versus Texas Tech. This was another one. This was a tightly contested game, but I think Texas Tech just had a little bit more than Gonzaga, and Gonzaga.
I was gonna say that's how it always is, man. Like, I don't know if it's the conference they're in, if they don't compete against teams that are similar to each team throughout the, you know what I mean, the country, like SEC teams, Atlanta 10 teams, Big East teams, like, because they get in the tournament and
I just think they're cursed. I think there's some type of curse because there's no reason that he put together a talented team each year with talent too. Some guys that are going to be in the NBA, and you know, the last time they were in the Final Four was a couple years ago. North Carolina beat them, but besides that, it's just like Gonzaga always comes into the tournament with this hype, and everybody says, "Oh, this might be the year. This might be the year," and then
I'll be honest, the way they look sometimes, kind of like how Georgetown used to look when they play that weak non-conference schedule and then get in the Big East play and would struggle sometimes. You know, I'm a big Georgetown fan, so like this is how it kind of looks. Like you kill in your conference, your non-conference, you smack people around, you even beat Duke, and then you get in the tournament.
Yeah,
you lose to a Texas Tech and a team that barely doesn't even really shoot threes like that.
Nah.
But they make them because they made 39% compared to Gonzaga's 26.
Yeah, Texas Tech got a lot of upperclassmen, so that helps them. But Gonzaga, I don't know when they'll ever win one because they're just whenever people say they got Gonzaga in their Final Four, I'm just like I'm not picking Gonzaga at all because I know what's going to happen at the end result. They're going to choke. My favorite one was when Adam Morrison, when they lost to I think it was UCLA back in like 06 or 05, I think.
Rudy Gay in there?
No, it was
Jordan Farmer in that year?
No, the following year.
Carlson,
Collison, Ryan Hollins. I think Kevin Love was on that team.
I think he might have been.
It might have been the year before Kevin Love.
Ship was there. One of the Ship brothers was still there shooting, right?
And then all I remember is Adam Morrison on the ground crying because they had that game too, and they blew it. And then next thing you know, you just see Adam Morrison. He's at half court just balling out.
That boy was a killer. But I ain't gonna be just crying on the floor like that. Like,
especially when it's your fault they lost.
Hold it together, man.
Get it together, Adam Morrison.
Come on, bro.
Oh, he might want to come over here and throw some hands with us.
Yeah, I ain't had fun.
All right, so let's get into one more from the Elite Eight. Duke versus Michigan State. This was Duke. Duke finally, these close ones finally caught up to Duke. They weren't able to prevail over this one, and they just ran into a team that just wanted it a little bit more than they did and made some plays that Duke couldn't make. The guy, Boykins, I think that's his name, that hit the three to put Michigan State up by 1. The guy was like 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 from threes the whole game. And then he made the biggest play because the play they ran, he got wide open. That's the play right there. He got wide open. They gave him a screen. And that's just what happens when you have upperclassmen and you got guys that aren't scared to shoot, or like Duke's point guard, Trey Jones.
It's March Madness, man. Like, you can have a guy go 0 for 5, and then he gets that one opportunity, and he sticks it. Yeah. Like, you can't be at these Division I schools, these top Division I or elite Division I schools, and you're scared to shoot the ball. Stop overthinking it. Just play basketball. You get recruited for a reason. A coach shows you that they believe in your skills enough to invite you to their school. Yeah. So, and part of their family, part of the culture. So just believe in yourself.
Yeah, you got it.
Shoot the ball. Your brother's a pro.
Can't miss the shots you don't take. I mean, Jesus, take the shot.
And then
a miss is a miss.
Granted, I don't know how close they are, but you would think like coming in, like he worked with his brother on the jumper if he wasn't that sure about it coming in.
Yeah, because Tyus. That dude will launch that thing.
He can shoot that, but he wasn't as crafty. His brother's crafty though. Yeah. Trey, the moves he does and his layups, but he just can't. He just don't have the confidence to shoot.
Yeah. Another thing we need to talk about, R.J. Barrett. Goodness gracious, R.J. You got to make that. You got to make those free throws, man. You're a highly tutored recruit. Steve Nash is your godfather. There's no reason you should be missing free throws at all. Yeah. I would say, yeah, you're right. Freshman moment, though. I think he's not prepared for that. And he was actually having a good game. He was having one of his better games, but then Duke did the Duke thing and not get the ball to Zion's hands or have him touch the ball the last 2 minutes. They decided to go with RJ the last couple minutes, do it all. But Zion got to touch the ball. Yeah, every possession, he has to touch the ball at every single possession.
I mean, he's a tough cover in college basketball, let alone the world. So he should always touch the ball. Like, I don't understand it. Mm-hmm. Some things we just can't wrap our head around just because I don't think they can wrap their head around certain things. Yeah. And him not touching the ball just doesn't make sense. He's a threat wherever he is in the paint, three-point line, baseline. He's a threat everywhere. Even if he's not going to shoot the ball. You give it to him, defense shifts, kick it back, open shot, open layup or something like that. Make the game simple. Yeah,
very simple. Also, that goes back to Coach K. It's like, come on, Coach K, you've been around this for a long time. You've had numerous superstar players. I think we all know you know what you're doing, and it seemed like you just kind of, you didn't know what you were doing with these two guys. You didn't know who you wanted to be the guy to have the ball in their hands the last couple minutes. And there was some stat I read. It was like Duke in the last minute, in those clutch shots, they were like 0 for 12. RJ took 9 of them.
Because it's one of those things, kind of like LeBron and D-Wade when they first got together. They didn't know who should take the game-winning shot until D-Wade was like, you know what, LeBron, go ahead and handle that.
And then LeBron was like, you know what, you handle that.
Yeah, so like, because D-Wade took a step back, then he had to take a step forward. Yeah. So it's like one of those things like.
And then it turned out balanced. It turned out balanced because it started with LeBron will hit one, Wade will hit one. So it's like, you got these two guys.
And two, though, RJ came into Duke the #1 recruit in the country. Zion stepped on the court and became the #1 prospect in the world. So that's also, too, like, you got to manage that because you know how the guys are in the league and stuff. Like, they want their prospects to still be considered top prospects. So you don't want somebody to take more shine than the other. But
listen, Zion brought a whole lot of attention to Duke. Not a whole lot of attention to Duke. When President Obama is coming to see you, former President Obama, I should say, comes to see you.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, President Obama, when President Obama comes to see you, you know you're a big deal. You know you're a big deal.
I mean, when Duke hikes the prices of your tickets up by thousands, like, what? What college kid got $3,000 just to spend on a ticket? Like, come on, man. You don't want no college kids that don't go to Duke there because they ain't affording that. Yeah, so. Like, come on, bro. Like,
so Duke misses the Final Four. They haven't been to a Final Four since 2015, and, we'll see what happens next. Coach K's talking about, maybe he's going to start not recruiting one-and-dones, which is just overreaction.
He said that?
It says something like that about just starting to, going back to the way he used to recruit, get guys that'll stay a little longer. I'm like, come on.
Coach Izzo don't jump on the train. He don't jump on the wave. You don't gotta be a wave rider.
Yeah, Coach Williams, Roy Williams doesn't. Roy Williams. He'll get a few here and there that'll be one and done. But most of the people he recruits, they're there for at least 2-3 years.
Or you could just convince him to stay next year.
Or that. You should try that because that revenue y'all get from them is woo. But let's go to the Final Four. Let's look at this. University of Virginia versus Auburn. We got two different styles. We got a half-court team playing against a team that wants to go up-tempo, speed you up, take a lot of threes, and Virginia wants to slow you down, make you play half-court, trap everything on defense, and match up of two different styles.
I think if Auburn can create early turnovers and get a lead, they'll speed Virginia up. But if they don't do that, they're just going to have to just play slow, hourglass basketball.
And if that happens, I'm probably not going to watch it because I'd rather not watch that. But we always say the tournament is about guards. The March Madness is all about the guards. So Bryce Brown and Harper, how they're going to compare to Guy. And I keep forgetting the other guard's name.
Is it Jerome?
Probably. He looked like a character from Tekken, but
that's the little Asian dude.
Yeah, he's a starter.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, a freshman. He looks like somebody from Tekken. I can't. It's just the hair. But those guys, can those guys slow down these two guys because it's that's gonna be the game. The game is won from in the backcourt. College, anything about March Madness. If you watch the history of March Madness, the games are won due to the guard play.
I don't really see them staying in front of Brown and Hopper. They don't really seem like tough, hard-nosed defenders for Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia's like a team defense oriented.
That's what I mean. Mono, I don't see that. Now, Auburn, I see that. And they're just some dogs. There's some grown men out there. Like, you could tell, like, they played in some real important games before.
Yeah.
And they're showing it in the tournament.
Yeah, and this is their first Final Four in school history, so they're gonna want to be the ones to make history, to be the first team to actually, bring a title to Auburn. And if that'll be something interesting that no one saw coming, because I know I didn't see it coming.
Nah, I didn't either. Who they beat when I was like, that's why I realized how good Auburn was. A couple games ago, they smacked Kansas.
They
smacked Kansas. I was like, I didn't know Auburn was built like that, and I started seeing more and more, and I started to believe it in myself.
Yeah. So this is gonna be an interesting matchup. Now the other game, Texas Tech and Michigan State. Now this is a game of dogs because Michigan State, it's like two teams that are gritty, two teams that want to play defense and execute on the offensive end. And Cassius Winston, this guy's draft stock keeps going up and up and up as the more games because he's been playing well this entire tournament.
I mean, he had 20 and 10 last game, and you got Tillman, 19 and 9. He's producing, getting better. And, my thing is it starts at the top. So if your point guard is producing, then it's kind of hard to stop the team as a whole because if he's creating for all the guys, all they got to do is make shots, and you got to stop that guy. I don't really know how effective Texas Tech's point guard will be compared to Winston.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe he'll be a little bit effective, but Winston, his game is so crafty. It's like he moves at his own pace and he makes you play to his style. And he's a good defender too.
Definitely. And for Jared Culver, Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I feel like he handles the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And he's like their two guy. Yeah. So something got to give.
And I think this will be big for Michigan State because of everything that happened last year with that whole sequence of sexual assault thing that happened with last year about former players happening, sexual misconduct from former players. Football and basketball, I think that happened last year. The investigation that happened last year with some former players and Tom Izzo, it was actually if he knew about it and how quickly we forget if they win this national title because that.
Apparently, I forgot.
Yeah, see that thing was. That thing came and went, and people were saying I was one of those that say he shouldn't be coaching there no more because of that. But if they win this, it'll be big for Tom Izzo.
Yeah, that too. I mean, it's tough for me to say that about Tom because I don't really know how much control he has over what the kids do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Throughout the basketball season, but throughout the year, you don't interact as much as you do during the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we all talk about Michigan State being a tournament team.
Yeah.
And in the Final Four.
That's why you was hesitant to pick against them.
Yeah. So I see Michigan State and Auburn meeting in the Final Four, to be honest with you.
I would rather see Michigan State and Auburn meet in the Final Four, because if I have to deal with Virginia in the Final Four, I might not even watch the national title game if Virginia's in it.
I can see that.
Yeah, so Final Four is this Saturday. Championship games on Monday. We'll definitely be keeping you up ahead. If Michigan State wins, I know some people that work at the Big Ten Network, so they might call in. I might have them call in. They're Michigan State alums too, so I'll have them call in and talk about that. All right, that's our college basketball. Now on to NBA, where Kristaps Porzingis. There's a little investigation going on. This is a very interesting story. Rape allegations. This happened after his season was done last year. After the ACL injury, there's a woman's accusing him of rape. That's what it is right now. It's still under investigation. This story is a little weird because I read something where the female was trying to extort him for some money for college tuition and some other stuff. And the Mavericks said when they traded for him, they knew about the extortion, but this whole rape allegation thing is they didn't know about. So it's weird. It's a very weird story.
Yeah, I was reading the article from New York Post, and it just didn't add up. The way she was doing things kind of seemed backwards. Like she was trying to what you say, extortion, sending naked pictures or whatever, trying to shake down the the people that work for Porzingis and the legal team.
Yeah.
And then you file.
And then wrote a note and spelled his name wrong.
Yeah, it's just too much going on. Then I heard it was like some money for college or something like that.
Yeah, tuition and stuff.
It's just too much going on. Like I'll be honest, I'm all for hearing both sides of the story, and hopefully he didn't rape anybody, but this doesn't even sound well thought out.
Yeah, this is an interesting. Yeah, this is one of those things where it's just like, okay, let's wait for everything to unfold, because it's like things aren't adding up with these allegations, and that's what they are right now. They're just allegations, so it's under investigation. We'll know more later on, but yeah, it's a weird situation.
Yeah, and then she was like staying with him, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what? Like, I don't. Yeah, it just, to me, it just seemed. I'm not gonna tell you what it seems like. I just know, like, we just gotta find out more.
Yeah, we gotta find out more, because if we, because we can't go out and just say that, this is rape. You can't just go out flat out call somebody a liar. But it's a little interesting. But when everything else happens, all the legal stuff that goes through,
but we do live in this world where people are trying to secure the bag.
Yeah.
So they'll do anything. Yeah, and it's crazy. But hopefully nobody got hurt and harmed in anything.
Yeah. That's
ridiculous.
All right, Trae Young, this guy, Trae Young, Trae Young figured out the NBA. He started off. It was a rough start for him when he got his welcome to the NBA. The first couple months, it was rough for him. He was struggling. He wasn't playing that well. His threes weren't going down. But he's figured out. He's been hitting some clutch shots, some game-winning shots. He had a game winner on Sunday, a game-winning tipping floater against the Bucks. Yeah, and he also had a game winner against the Sixers a couple weeks ago. So he's actually, you look at his stats. Like 18 points. 8 assists, 82% from the free throw line, 32% from the three. That's all right. That's not great, but it's not bad for a rookie. So, this rookie campaign is going pretty well for him.
I mean, I've been so consumed in college basketball, I haven't even got a chance to really see his latest games. But some people with better finishes than they start.
Yeah.
So not Porzingis. What's the boy name again? From Mavericks? I don't know.
Luka.
Yeah, Luka started off great.
Yeah.
Kind of simmering down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Trae started off cold.
Yeah.
Starting to heat up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they give him like the cold MVP.
That's usually how
Rookie of the Year.
Ain't that usually how the NBA goes? Is like one rookie will come out with a splash the first few months, and then remember he's a rookie and he'll start playing well, and then the same thing happened with Jason Tatum last year. He came out, he kind of started off a little slow, and then he kind of took off. So
Yeah, some people just get it right away. Some people need to see it firsthand. You got to play against every team in order to figure it out.
yeah. Trae Young stat, this is since March 13th. I'll show you some of his game logs with points and assists. March 13th, 22 points, 8 assists. W against New Orleans. 26 points, 4 assists, another W. Against the Celtics, he had 20 points, 5 assists. That was a loss. 21 points, 12 assists. 23 points, 11 assists. 32 points, 11 assists. 33 points, 12 assists. 26 points, 7 assists, and 12 points and 16 assists this past Sunday against the Bucks. And a lot of these games he was shooting over 40%. He had a 55% game, had a 40% game, 50% game, 58% game. So,
like, if you told me those stats without even hearing the name, and you'd be like, "This is somebody who got drafted this year," I would have thought those numbers from the #1 pick.
Yeah. Also, in March, he had a 49-point game. Granted, it was 4 overtimes against the Bulls.
How many overtimes it was? You could go 49
Yeah,
points.
he had a 49-point game. I think he went something crazy from the 3-point line. But I remember watching that game. It was a crazy game. But yeah, I think Trae Young is showing that he can be that franchise point guard. And difference in college. College, they triple teamed him. He threw the ball to his teammates. They couldn't get a shot. This one, they double team him. Jason Collins, he got him right there.
It was so hard to watch him play in college because I'd be like, "Dude, them guys even want the ball?
Nope.
They didn't even want to shoot. They wouldn't even look at the rim."
Nope.
Like, it was like, as soon as they got it, "All right, where's Trae? I get open so I can pass it right back to you. You can jack up a 3 or a layup." Like, it was hard to watch them last year.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Last night, Russell Westbrook, he had the first 20-20-20 game since Wilt Chamberlain did it. I don't know how long ago Wilt did it, but that was something. And 20-20-20, 60, early 60s, Nipsey Hussle, that's where he's from. So there was a lot of meaning to this game for Westbrook and getting those numbers.
That was dope. I got the utmost respect for Westbrook. I always have, because he plays so hard. People get on him for not winning or not, I want to say, being able to share a team with somebody else, but he's a dog, man. And Paul George has no problem playing with him.
Yeah.
And that 20-20-20 was dope, just because, I'm a big Nipsey fan.
Yeah.
Rocking since Nipsey since I graduated from college. So, like, in 08. So, like, I just think that's dope. You couldn't honor somebody, any better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, especially going out like that.
Yeah,
and they needed to win because they were playing. They was struggling. Looks like they're gonna finish unless the Spurs lose and they win. Looks like it's gonna be them and the Warriors in the first round, which is I don't think you won't see them in the first round. But if the Spurs lose, they'll be the 2 seed and they have a better chance of beating the Nuggets in the first round than they do beating the Warriors in the first round, especially the way they've been playing the last couple weeks.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll line up like that.
Yeah. And, the Spurs will give the Warriors a tough matchup, but they just don't have no fight. Yeah.
Spurs don't really have much.
No.
They got a team. They just don't have a team to bring them over the hump.
Yeah. And last NBA news, to no surprise, the Wizards fired team president Ernie Grunfeld. And I'm not at all surprised at this. I'm just surprised it took so long because this team has just been...
That's him?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh. We'll never know.
Yeah, this team has just been, I don't know, this team has just been a mess.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Oh, my God. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Wizards have been a mess for the past 3 or 4 seasons. They never really made any strides there. They gave John Wall that big contract. They gave Otto Porter a big contract. It was just a mess. They were just doing everything wrong, and I can't even talk.
Well, my bad, Mook. He just looks like he likes giving away money. I'm sorry, bro. Like, look at this dude. You said he was the president. I'm like, what? Like, it just to me, it just seems like sometimes they don't care how much experience you have in basketball. You know what I mean? Like, at some point now, we need to have presidents and owners of some guys that were like Hall of Famers, ex-guys, ex-bench players.
Like Jerry West.
Yeah, because some of the bench players got great understanding of the game. They just weren't that good.
Yeah.
But they could probably manage teams better than some of these guys.
They make the
like,
best coaches.
Like, give these guys a shot. Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't.
I wouldn't have known he was involved in the NBA if I would have just met him somewhere. Granted, we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but come on, bro.
Too late for that.
I'm sorry, bro. Like,
He looked like that drunk uncle that you just tell everybody to stay away from.
I'm looking at him like, what? Like,
All right, we gonna go to baseball because I can't go through this one anymore.
all presidents must look like that, huh?
The Red Sox and Xander Bogart, I can't even pronounce his last name. Bogarts, I think that's his last name. They're working on a deal to give him an extension, 7-year, $132 million, I believe, extension. And I think keep your talent.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I agree.
yeah, it's a 6-year contract extension, I should say. But yeah, this is gonna run from 2020 to 2025. I think now they just gotta work on signing Mookie Betts, because you need to keep your young talent. The Red Sox right now, the season already started. They're out there on the West Coast. They're kind of not playing that well. They're 1-5 right now, but there's 162 games, so nobody even takes the first 2 months of the baseball season seriously. But the Red Sox, I think some of the issues that pitching and the bullpen, which was the issues last year, maybe an issue this year, but I think this team will be fine because they got a lot of players coming back. Granted, they lost a few, but I think this team, they'll be fine. It's just they're on the West Coast. You can't just start because they were spring trainings in Florida. So you go from Florida all the way to Seattle, then to Oakland. That's a long flight.
Good question. Who won the World Series last year?
The Red Sox.
I'm not worried about nothing.
There you have it. He ain't worried about nothing. The Red Sox are, the Red Sox are gonna.
Like,
Yeah, but they're right now they opened up the series against Oakland last night. They lost that one, but there's 162 games in baseball season, so a lot of Boston media like to panic, or they just like to create a story about this. But they lost 1-0 to Oakland. Actually, they lost 2 in a row. They lost 7-0, and then they lost 1-0 to Oakland. I believe they have a game tonight, 10 p.m. And they don't come back home until April 9th, so they'll be back home next week. So they got the series with Oakland, and then they got a series with the Arizona Diamondbacks, 3-game series, and then they'll be back home for a 2-game series with Toronto, then a 4-game series with Baltimore, and then a 2-game series at Yankee Stadium with those loser Yankees. And with that, we are going to go to our +1 interview. We had Jalil Taylor. It's interesting because the way we met him, we was at the gym, he working out. His dad came up and talked to us. So every time his dad sees us, he always talking to us and, just telling us about him. So I was like, you know what? He kept telling us about his son. So I was like, he asked me if I could have him on. And, who am I to say no to the people? So Jalil Taylor, we'll come back and then we'll wrap the show up. +1. What's going on? This is another interview, +1 interview. We got a special guest. This first time here. He's new to Massachusetts, so I had to bring him on, get him accustomed. Mr. Jalil Taylor, what's going on?
What's up, y'all, man? What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. How you been, man?
Chilling, man.
I feel it.
So hip hop artist.
Yep.
California to Massachusetts. Tell me about the move. Tell me about that move.
Man, it's a big change, man. It's cold as hell out here. It's real cold. But the culture out here and the artists I met out here, y'all really, really talented, man. Y'all inspire me, man. Because in LA, we more vibes, we more of like, how we feel in the car. Y'all more lyrical, because y'all not that far from New York.
Yeah.
Y'all not far from, from Jersey. So it's like y'all it's all like almost the same culture.
That Northeast thing.
Yeah.
That Northeast thing.
Yeah, so y'all more lyrical out here, so it really sharpened my pen.
Yeah.
Hanging with different artists and hanging with different engineers and producers. It's really dope.
You just talked about the difference from Cali to in Boston. What was something that you weren't, when you moved out here, what was something that you weren't really aware of that you kind of got used to just professional wise with the whole music scene?
I feel like that's a good question. I feel like the difference between the music scene out here than out there. Yeah, like I said, I think it's just more lyrical. I feel like you guys really just kind of clicked up, low key. I think y'all really just mess with your own crew. I mean, Cali's the same thing, but I feel like we more will like if we like you as a person, we gonna mess with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think y'all way more professional. Y'all charge for everything. Y'all charge for features. Y'all charge for everything. I'm like, damn.
I gotta get that money, man.
Yeah.
Get that money. Well, but just talk to me about your music. What got you started into making music? What got you into the game?
I'll say I'm really just the homies first. I was always into music. I was a kid. I did poetry in high school. You know that I was always a kid, but I never like went deep into it. I always played around with it, and I think when I was 22 and I was just going through all type of stuff. You know, shout out to my friends, shout out to the homies. Y'all know who you are. You know, I was down and out, and they put me into the studio, and they say, you know, you already do poetry, you already do music. That's almost rapping. You might as well, because if you listen to my music now, it's low key poetry. It's like I get on and off beat, you know. So it's low key, it's different. So but yeah, that got me into music. It's really just the homies that really got me into the music. You know, I was down and out, and they told me to do something positive and you know, creative. And I've been doing it since. I'll say I took it serious around 23, 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what projects you got working on? What are some stuff that you're working on now? What's some stuff you already got out?
I'm working the West A20. I go by West Taylor. I go by you know. So I'm gonna name my project West WST.A20. That's my birthday. So basically, this is just me. My first project. It's about myself, my experiences. I'm working on. I'm in a crew called OUN. I mean, can I cuss? Can I say? Oh yeah, OUN. I think, you know, only us and
only us neighbors.
Yeah, only us neighbors. Yeah, and we basically like we're basically a collective where, you know, we got people from Jersey, we got people from LA, we got people from Houston. Okay. We got people from everywhere. We all together trying to, you know, work.
So you've been networking a lot with different areas. You've been going around all these places. You've been going around.
I've been everywhere, man. Okay. I really be traveling. I was in New York, traveling, meeting people, networking.
How's that been?
It's real cool, man. It's a culture shock. I love it. I love it.
Well, what are some other artists out here in Lynn that you've been working with? Some artists from Lynn?
I haven't worked with any artists out here yet. I met Al Divino. I don't know if Easty Knack.
Oh, I know him.
I met him. He's real dope.
I call him Alex.
That's
how I know him.
Easty Knack, I've worked with him. I mean, I haven't worked with him. I want to though, but he been showing me beats and stuff. I've been to his house. So we just been vibing on a, you know, personal level.
That's a good dude to know.
Who else? That's really it. And I haven't really met any artists here in Lynn.
Well, do some more networking, yo. They're around.
Yeah, they be low key.
They be in their own zone, but they're around. They'll show love. We was just talking about this earlier. I mean, you from California. The news of Nipsey Hussle's passing.
I'm hurt. Like everybody that knows me personally knows I'm a big fan of Nipsey Hussle. I'm a big fan of Nipsey. And when I got the news, I didn't want to believe it because I just heard he got shot. So I'm like, all right, he got shot. He gonna make through it, and then he about to be just onto another pedestal, you know, another level. Because you know when somebody gets shot and live after that on some Tupac shit, Tupac stuff.
Well, we at it.
and Tupac stuff, and you know we kind of reverend you. And so when he passed away, you know, it just kind of like it shook everybody. I had so many people calling me, you know, telling me, I know you're hurting right now because I met him so many times. He's a real genuine dude, man. He'll give people chances.
Yeah, can you talk about just his impact on LA because they said he was bigger than music in LA just because he was a guy that was always around. He was a guy that he'll just talk to people, he'll help people out, and just hold that Crenshaw area, Slauson Ave.
And no matter if you're a Hispanic, you're a Blood, a Crip, a different set of a Crip, because you know there's different sets. We all put Nipsey on a pedestal. We all, you know, he was bigger than music because he helped families, he helped his community. He was literally buying his community and showing, you know, being healthy showing how to be healthy financially, spiritually.
Yeah.
So he was really putting a lot of his energy, positive energy, into the community, and we all looked at it from afar and from up close.
Yeah.
And it's it's really sad. Another leader, a leader of ours, is taken out like that cold.
Yeah.
It's really wicked. I pray for his family. I pray for his sister. I pray for his kids. And I pray for that whole community, man. I hope everybody keep their head up and stay positive, and learn from what he was trying to teach us.
Yeah, because you grew up not too far from Crenshaw.
Man, I was a kid that moved I was a kid that moved everywhere. So. I'll say I spent half of my time from a city called Palmdale. It's an hour away from it's an hour away from LA, and then I spent half of my time in LA. I was a kid that moved a lot. My mom moved a lot. She's from South Central, so I was everywhere from Inglewood to Compton to South Central to the Valley, then to Palmdale, back to the Valley. So I was literally a kid. So I know a lot of people from, I'll say, San Diego to San Francisco. I was a kid that really just moved, man.
Okay.
And that's why I'm out here, because I'm just steadily moving.
Y'all stay on the move. Your dad was telling me that when we was in the gym. Y'all just move.
I move, yeah.
Also, plug in to find your music and everything. Plug your social media and all that.
Okay, look right here.
No, you look over here.
All right. So follow me on Twitter, 93InfantWest, and then follow me on, it's just Instagram is the same thing, 93InfantWest.
One word? One word?
Yeah, 93InfantWest, no underscore, none of that abbreviate. And I'm on Apple Music. I think I'm on Spotify too. It's West Taylor, WST dot, and regular Taylor. And then I'm also have another thing too called West Taylor, but it's WEST Taylor. Yeah, so either way you'll find my music.
You're just busy out here, so we a couple months in, just talk about your plans for 2019. What's the bigger picture we're looking at for you in 2019?
Projects, videos, performing. Especially out here on the East Coast. I perform a little bit on the West Coast, but not too big, not big venues and stuff like that. But I just I want to graduate from an independent artist to something bigger. I want to keep graduating from that. So my goal right now is maybe 1,000, 2,000 spins a month.
Hey, man.
And then from there keep going, keep pushing.
Baby steps.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Steps. Yeah, man, keep
Slow
doing
progress.
keep doing your thing. As long as you don't get complacent and as long as you keep working, I'm saying you'll get there, man. But hey, thanks, man.
I appreciate
the time's up. See how quick
man.
that went.
Yeah.
All right, man. I want to thank him. Make sure y'all check him out. All right, Jalil Taylor, check him out.
Yeah.
+1, we're out of here. R.I.P. Thank you, Jalil. Make sure y'all check out his music. He's new to Lynn, so, show him the love that Lynn shows outsiders when they come in. Don't be a hater. Speaking of haters, Sunday, Nipsey Hussle passed away, and unnecessary, just a hater, just unnecessary, untimely death, because this was the more I read about it, the more I'm just like, wow, this was really just shot a man for nothing. So I've been reading up, I've been getting all the details about it. So the more details that come, they caught the guy who shot him. So what happened was Nipsey knew who the person was. The person came to a store, and pretty much Nipsey told him he can't be here. He got to go because the person pretty much is a troublemaker. He's a known snitch around LA. So it's one of those things, dude, you can't be here in my place of business. And then he came back and did what he did, and it's just you could tell, but the way this unfolded, you could tell that's been bottling up. That dude's been wanting to do that for some time.
Yeah, and I heard like he went to the store without his on security, I guess.
Yeah.
He went there real quick, you know what I mean?
The reason he went to the store without his security because one of his friends had just got out of jail for 20 years, so he was going to get him some codes to go see his family. So it was just one of those spur of the moment type things, and it was just like he's going to do a good thing for somebody who's just came out and getting him fresh to see his family, and then you do that. It's like, bro, what? It was senseless.
Yeah, that's stupid, man. That's stupid, especially somebody that's trying to do good for their community. We both been big Nipsey fans since the man came out.
Yeah.
So and we're able to put some people on. It was music and just show that he was talking about more than just turning up and all the usual things that people get frowned upon for doing. He was trying to show people more.
And what's even worse is the guy has a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
A young son too. I think his son was probably like a year or two old. And, his daughter's a little older, but not like I think 10 or something like that, not close to teenage. But he got a young son and he got a growing daughter, and you just did that for what? Why? Because he told you to leave his place of business, and then the male ego, your ego got the better of you, and you just, you wasted his life, and most likely your life you're gonna rot in jail. And what makes it even worse is Nipsey was, I was there. When I was in LA, that's why I got this shirt. I went to LA, I went to that store, I was like, let me go to Nipsey Hussle store, maybe I'll run into him. So, I went there, the people that worked there, they showed love, they were nice. And then they would tell me that whole plaza, he owned it, he employed a lot of people, and he was doing so much in the community. For one, he started a Vector 90, which was a thing for students who are interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. Because he wanted students, especially those in the Crenshaw area, just to, do other things besides maybe sports or rapping, just some other options. And then he was also buying that whole strip. He was buying property and just trying to, revitalize that thing. And
the man was just trying to do well. And I got a bunch of texts. When you text me though, I just thought, first thing I thought was another fatherless child or fatherless children.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I kind of see why when people seen how Pac passed. We were young. I was driving home from New Jersey when he passed, from New York with my fam. I didn't understand it. Now I kind of feel like we understand it now because it's a rapper you can relate to. Me and him were the same age. He's born in August and born in December. Yeah. So it's like now I kind of see firsthand how the late generation seen him when Pac passed.
The way it hit me. The way it hit me is because I literally just watched this guy's career. I watched him from when he came on the scene at 18, when he was freestyling with Snoop and just jumping on certain songs, being featured, and then when he started putting out his mixtapes, and I literally just watched him elevate himself. So it's just like, I kind of know this guy. I don't know him, but I know him because I just watched him elevate himself. And the concept of victory lap is something that we all can take forward, because what he said was victory lap is him graduating from one phase of his life. That's why he says the marathon continues, because he's still going. He's got other plans for another victory lap. So we all can relate to that. Everybody can relate to that because we're all going on a marathon right now.
Life's a marathon.
Yeah, life's a marathon. So it was just like, that's why it hit me, because I'm just like, I feel like I just watched this guy's career, especially from when he was 18 and then his 33 too, 33.
Yeah, man. That was my guy. Like, if everybody asking about rappers, Nip's the first one I'm gonna talk about. Yeah. Just cause he was different.
Yeah,
he was. You know what I mean? He was talking about more than just the regular. Yeah. And that's what we needed.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, man. Great man, good man. We all gonna miss you. It hit me. So we'll see you guys when we see you guys.